Welcome to the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament. This is Middle-earth Madness. Yes, welcome back everybody to the Chamber of Death, from whence we are bringing you the Third Age Throwdown. Night 3. I am joined tonight by the Engine Chief, the designer of the Battle Engine, whence comes all the action that we're about to experience and have experienced throughout the tournament. How's it going, Engine Chief?
Really good. I'm here to defend the engine against any slanders.
Yes. Not too much slander coming so far, but drop it in the comments, you guys. Here's your chance. So, night 3. We got some cool fights coming at everyone tonight. We are going to start with a little how we got here recap. Not going too deep on this. Then we will tell you a little bit more about our fantasy league, which is rocking and rolling as of night 3. I'll give you a little score update on that. But yeah, let's kick it off with last night. Quick recap. If you didn't catch the action, first of all, you can catch all the action on YouTube on demand. So hit up our YouTube page anytime you want. Easiest way to do that is actually probably to go through the website, middleearthmadness.com. The YouTube link and all our socials are at the bottom of every page of the website. So little circles at the very bottom of the website, each page. Click on a little YouTube link and you'll see it sorted on there by Third Age Throwdown fights, and then sort of the earlier fights from March in our Ultimate Tolkien Tournament have their own little playlist on there. So we try to keep it organized. We'll probably post all new fights, anywhere from a few hours after the night's action to, the next morning. So catch up on any fights you missed, but meanwhile, we'll give you a little breakdown of what happened. So last night was the Mordor region, so named because Sauron is the 1 seed. He didn't fight. He got a bye, but Bard knocked out Samwise Gamgee in the first round. So, Bard is going to advance past Sam to play Sauron in the next round. Meanwhile, the 5-6 matchup was Círdan against Quickbeam. And in a not very close fight, not as close as I would have bet, Círdan took care of business in a big way and advanced, and he will fight Gwaihir, the Windlord, in the next round. Then in the 7-8, it was Azog against Faramir. Faramir, apparently his luck ran out. He outperformed in the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament back in March. Slew Smaug in the first round and went on, I think, 2 rounds actually before he was defeated. Not last night. Azog, in a great fight, got the better of Faramir, and so Azog will advance to take on Aragorn. And then lastly, in another good one, Imrahil fought against Farmer Maggot and his dogs, and Maggot got the better of Imrahil in an upset in this one, and Farmer Maggot will advance to fight Glorfindel. So, lots of good action in the Mordor region, which brings us up to speed as we scroll across the bracket here to tonight's action in the Isengard region. We're going to kick things off with Bilbo against Merry, some Hobbit on Hobbit violence. So, should be a good one there. More on that to come, but just a little preview here. That fight will be followed by Landroval against Elrohir. So, yeah, that's maybe the match of the night. It's got potential to be anyway. Then we'll proceed to the dwarf-orc fights, which is kind of the unofficial theme of the night. 2 dwarf-orc fights in this one. First, Bolg against Thorin Oakenshield. This one's straight from the lore in The Hobbit. They actually fought, so we'll touch on that. And then lastly, we've got Gorbag against Gloin as the nightcap. So, before we get to all of that, let's welcome Campy Wampy to the stage. Campy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Awesome.
My little hobbit hero can hear you as well. She might sing a little bit for you guys somewhere in between here.
Your little hobbit hero?
Yeah.
Are you assigning nicknames to your wiener again?
No, this is my little daughter.
Oh, even better. Forget what I just said then in that case. So, yeah, Campy joins us. Patty Man will drop in a little later on our panel. And, yeah, we are rocking and rolling up here in the Chamber of Death. So, let's give the folks a little quick update on the Fantasy League. We are joined, of course, again by Engine Chief here, who can shed some light on a few of the metrics. But for those, again, that are just joining, the concept here is, if you've ever played in any fantasy sports leagues, that's basically what we are doing here with Lord of the Rings characters. We each drafted in an auction draft a bunch of different Lord of the Rings characters here. So let me zoom so you can see this better. These are our rosters.
Third age characters.
Yeah, specifically third age characters. Yeah, they're so third age is the big one. A lot happened. It's everything from the events right after the Last Alliance, all the way through the end of the War of the Ring. So, but really, it's the Hobbit and it's the Lord of the Rings. That's what we focused on. So, the Greater War of the Ring, if you want to call it that. But anyway, here's our characters. Here's our rosters. Campy's doing pretty good. Campy, you lost Faramir last night, man.
I don't know if that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, you've got 3 studs left, so there's that.
Well, yeah,
Gandalf, Smaug, and Boromir.
Boromir.
No one at all from Josh's roster has fought yet. Chucky is 100% winning because most of his guys have not fought, but the 2 that have won. The Barrow White and Farmer Maggot. Hanti, he had a big roster, and he's a mixed bag here. You have 4 wins, so he's leading in score right now. And basically, the way that we score points here is if you win your fight, you get points. And the further we go along, the more those wins are worth, right? Round by round throughout the tournament. Little bonus here for upsets. When your character scores an upset, right? C differential times round number. So in round 1, you're going to get 1 times a lot of stuff, which is going to be a 1-point bonus. So you get 11 instead of 10. But as the rounds progress, those will get more valuable as well. Hanti lost Imrahil, Shelob, and Ugluk so far. But again, he's got 4 wins under his belt. Pattyman has lost the Watcher. And none of his other characters have fought yet. And then Dattel has lost Pippin, Sam, and Quickbeam. But Asog and Frodo both pulled upsets. So those are our fantasy rosters. And I'll show you an even better visual. Which is over where? It's over here. So check this out. This is basically where we stand. I'll let the graphic speak for itself right quick. So these are number of battles here down on the x-axis, right? We are just starting night 3. There's 4 battles a night, so we're at about 8 fights so far, 8 battles. It'll be 12 by the end of the night, bringing us to about here. So yeah, Hanti is well ahead of the curve. We're not going to belabor this too much, but we'll maybe flash this again and see how we've progressed at the end of tonight. A lot can change. So that's our fantasy league. That's a quick recap of where we have been. Anything to add to this engine, Chief, before I switch screens here?
No, just because the thing you said before is some people, like Patty Man's got a really strong roster and is probably the favorite to win, but he's only fought one fight. This doesn't cover scheduling differences yet. Some people haven't played at all, so
Right.
as we add data to this, it'll make more sense.
Yeah, good points. Okay. So then, let us switch gears to our first fight of the evening, shall we? Hobbit on Hobbit violence. So two very familiar characters here. What jumps out at you guys, off the top here in terms of how Merry would stand against Bilbo?
Well, Bilbo has a special weapon, and Merry doesn't.
True.
Mary's got the hair, man. Mary's got the hair.
Indeed. Yeah, so Bilbo's got Sting. That'll matter. He doesn't have, unlike Frodo, Bilbo does not have Mithril. Okay, so, he gets that at the very end of The Hobbit, so we decided to not bake that into his stats. So, but Sting, ups his numbers for sure. Speaking of numbers, let's take a look at the projections here. Wait for it. What's going on? I have to click more buttons, guys. Pardon me, 1 sec. Bilbo against Merry. I can't show you the... Bilbo against Merry. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. Thought I had it up, and I don't. Come on, Battle Engine.
If you look at Engine Shift's whole little profile pic here, I just realized it could be obviously an explosion, right? But if you look at it as a collective eyeball, it could be just like a 90s-ish computer version in Microsoft Paint of somebody recreating it off the song.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
So, what do we think of the numbers, guys? Bueller.
It just...
Well, they're all but clones. Look at that. Almost every number's the same except for magic. Well, and spirit, I guess.
Yeah, true enough. So
basically, all that means is everything else being equal, Bilbo's wounds will be more damaging. When Bilbo wounds Merry, it'll be more damaging than vice versa.
Yeah, good point. Yep. So, the biggest disconnect is that spirit. Thought process being here. Okay, first of all, it's good to remind folks what's spirit. Okay, spirit is a defensive stat that is basically 1/3 of your likelihood to withstand damage. What it means in terms of the story and the narrative, though, is anything in sort of your Tolkien. With Tolkien, a big thing with his characters they're fate-driven characters a lot of the time. Bilbo was rousted out by a cranky wizard from his comfortable life, thrown into this, this hero story arc. That's a fate-driven plot line. That's a fate-driven scenario for him. Totally unexpected. And he, some would say, including Gandalf, was fated to find the ring, right? So spirit sort of captures ideas like that. And on defense, a character that is just fated to walk the path of the hero is going to have higher defense. And again, this is just 1/3 of his withstanding damage is all this is. But that's the reason Bilbo has very high spirit here. And so that's gonna do him some good in terms of withstanding damage. Merry, on the other hand, doesn't find the ring, wasn't, inspired in greatness. He I guess you could argue, he was fated into a great journey, of course, right? But the extent of that fate was less. Of course, the Witch King would probably beg to differ, getting stabbed in the Achilles heel by this hobbit. So, but that's just one category. That's spirit. That's why Bilbo, excels in spirit. Magic, really, neither are good. But again, Bilbo, by virtue of his coming into contact with the ring, and being a ring bearer, does have some magic, a modicum at least, whereas Merry doesn't. Otherwise, look, they're both hobbits. Bilbo's, what is it, striking? Yeah, striking is going to be better. That's sting versus the barrow white blade. Along with, what's the other one?
It's interesting that Valor favors Merry.
Yeah, again, the thought process there is Merry was arguably, at least, one of the probably the bravest hobbit. I mean, he's standing up again and again, not only for Pippin, bailing him out of weird situations, but for Éowyn later, for Theoden, taking on the Witch King, marching right by Aragorn's side at the Battle of Morannon. He's a cheeky bastard. He's a brandy buck. He'll get after it a little bit. So
and he has an advantage in accuracy, but he's only going to use it 8% of the time, so that's not going to do much.
Yeah. Oh, good observation there too. Yeah, we haven't touched on that yet. So Bilbo's going to prefer melee. Merry is as well, and they're only going to use their non-favored weapon 8% of the time, as Engine Chief just said. Any last words before we fight this one, guys? Well then, let us fight. In the first fight of the evening, we have Bilbo against Meriadoc Brandybuck. Shall we fight?
Go Bilbo!
Go Bilbo! Bilbo with the first strike, using sting, fails to hit. Merry comes back, miss. Bilbo miss. Merry engages but misses. He tried to hunk a rock there and missed. Bilbo with sting misses. Two wily hobbits can't hit each other so far. Back and forth they go through 10 rounds. No damage. Extremely
Stronger
difficult
characters.
to hit. The first hit. Some damage. Bilbo with the first wound. Heavily hewn. Instantly removing half of Merry's life in our first session of Hobbit on Hobbit violence. Sting doing its job so far, guys. Can Merry retaliate? No, not that time. Bilbo can't either. Back and forth they go, dancing a little bit. Oh, a hit, but no damage for Merry.
They're both elusive.
A hit for Bilbo! A wound! Slight smite. And extreme advantage for Bilbo through 20 rounds. Back and forth they go. Dancing a little bit again. Which hobbit will come out victorious? Or, the better question is, can Merry come back in this one? A hit by Merry! A wound! Very slight damage, almost nothing. Back and forth they go, approaching 30 rounds. Can Merry do anything? He's on the ropes. Bilbo with the extreme advantage through 33. Back and forth, another hit by Merry! A wound! Evens things a little bit. With a nice stroke with the barrow white blade. Slight smite. Bilbo comes back, misses. Merry misses. Back and forth they go. Good agility and elusiveness paying off for these little hobbits. The elven cloaks, perhaps. Well, at least in Merry's case. Back and forth. Back and forth. Missing and missing and missing. Missing again through 45 rounds. Can Merry even the fight, or can Bilbo deal the death blow? Through 50 rounds, we don't know. Back and forth they go. Man. A hit! No damage. Bilbo tried to hunk a rock there. He was forced to use his ranged attack.
The music gets louder.
A hit! A wound! Not enough damage to finish it for Bilbo. Another wound! Is this enough? Slain. And Bilbo wins it in the 61st round. Pretty good fight to start things off, fellas. How we feeling?
Like we need to get them optometrists.
Yeah, a lot of missing.
That was just so much. What everybody predicted was pretty even in every way, except the blows are more damaging from one side than the other. Piles up.
100%. Yep, truly. Yeah, a good little fight there, and I think a good example of kind of what this is all about. We don't. I haven't said this really much, but you know, especially if you're tuning in for the first time, this is kind of inspired by the old school tabletop games, right? Where, sure, we have character logos here for all our guys, like in this one, you know, but the objective here is to kind of use your imagination. Remember that before technology, we had to use that thing called imagination, and we had to picture two characters from our favorite books actually duking it out. So all we want to do here is give you guys a little step up with here's maybe how we picture these characters, you know, not going from the Peter Jackson movies or certainly not any other more recent derivative works, video games, what have you. Nothing wrong with any of that except for Rings of Power, which sucks donkey balls. But yeah, these are sort of our reimaginings of these characters, right? So we give you the picture, ignore the picture if you want, and imagine these two characters duking it out. I think that's where a lot of the fun is with this. And that battle was a little bit of a cool example because, you know, these characters would never fight each other. That's the point. What if they did? If we really are going for the purpose of finding, I don't know, a champion of all Middle Earth in a bracket, what would happen? Right, so we're just kind of trying to massage that question and see what would happen. Apparently, Bilbo would beat Merry, at least, you know, in one fight. So here we are. We are off to the races. Bilbo will advance. And let's see who he'll play in the second round. Bilbo takes out Meriadoc. And the halfling of Hobbiton, burglar of Thorin's company and finder of the One Ring, will advance to take on Saruman. Yeah, good luck with that one, Bilbo. So, turning now to our... This is not our next fight. My bad. This is our next fight. Landroval against Elrohir. Panelists, take it away while I cue up the fight. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling. There's been a. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't know what to say. This is such a strange clash.
I mean, all I can say is it's, you know, neither of which I choose to tussle with. That.
What? You were laughing. I couldn't hear.
Oh, I said I wouldn't want to tussle with either of them.
All right.
But, yeah,
So now, Eladan, did he win or lose first night?
He won. He slew the Watcher in the water.
Okay.
his
So that
brother
makes me think
Elrohir.
Elrohir, who's
Yeah.
extremely similar.
Mhm.
You know, I would lean towards. And he's a 5 seed as a 6, yeah?
Yeah. So the lore here, I mean, these are less well-known characters, so it's worth taking a second on lore. Lore-wise, you know, we're talking kind of a hobbit and a lord. Landroval, of course, is the little brother of Gwaihir, the Wind Lord, of the great eagles of the Misty Mountains. Okay, so these are semi-divine beings, creatures, right? Sent from Manwë, who's one of the gods of airs and winds over there in Valinor. It's arguable they might have been around in the first age, although we never hear about them. They don't really present themselves until the second and third age, and really not in a big way, a significant way, until the third age. These were the eagles that bailed out Thorin's company when the goblins of the Misty Mountains chased them out of Goblin Town after they slew the great goblin of Goblin Town and emerged east of the Misty Mountains. The wargs, the wolf-riding orcs, led by Bolg, who we'll see later tonight, drove the dwarves and Gandalf and Bilbo into the eaves of Mirkwood, where they started burning the trees that they had all climbed to evade the wargs, and then Gandalf being a friend of the eagles, and really more importantly, his buddy Radagast being the lord, as close to a lord of beasts and birds as you can get in Middle Earth. He is the Maiar that really is tight with birds, especially birds, but all beasts. So Radagast being close with Gandalf, members of the White Council, good buddies. They work together on the Astari circuit, and Gandalf knows how to summon Gwaihir. In the movies, he used a moth. Okay, that's as good a device as any, because we really don't know how the magic works. But he has a way of summoning Gwaihir, and with Gwaihir comes Landroval, and they bail all the dwarves out, and they drop them off basically at the Karak, close to Bjorn's house. That's one time. Of course, they emerge again at the very end of the Lord of the Rings, at the Battle of Morannon, and they swoop down upon the winged Nazgul and knock them off their fell beasts and have an aerial battle. Oh, I missed the Battle of the Five Armies. They also fight in that one as one of the five armies itself, bailing out the elves and the dwarves and the men, right? And slaying many orcs, even though they're the smallest army. So that's Landroval. Elrohir is one of the Dunedain Rangers, although he's more, elven in his upbringing than many of the Dunedain, which were Adain, right? They have distant elvish blood coming from Numenor. But Elrohir has very direct elven lineage through, being the son of Elrond. Elrond had twin sons, Elladan and Elrohir, also a daughter, Arwen. So this guy Elrohir is the brother of Arwen. Really good buddies with Aragorn. They were raised together in Imladris, in Rivendell. So it's basically like the brother from a different mother of Aragorn too. And so in the really in the Return of the King, they formed this company called the Grey Company, and that's the Dunedain coming down from Eriador, from Arnor. They're all that's left of the realm that was once Arnor. You see things like, the ruins of Amon Sul on Weathertop, right? And this used to be a great northern kingdom that the Witch King eventually crushed in a really, really cool segment of the appendices that we're obviously hoping comes to the screen sometime soon, because that would be sweet to see all the events of the Witch King against Arnor and how he systematically destroyed Arnor and the Kingdom of Men, one stronghold at a time. Anyway, Elrohir was a member of the Grey Company who met up with Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas down in Rohan and took the paths of the dead at Dunharrow and emerged at the Stone of Erech in Gondor. They proceed then to snag the black ships down at Pelagir by defeating the Corsairs of Umbar, using, of course, the undead army, the dead men of Dunharrow, in another really cool sort of scene that was not really on the page of the books, but behind the page, as it were. It's sort of implied, and then they show up at the Pelennor Fields on the black ships in the nick of time and all that. So that's Elrohir. He did all of that with Aragorn. So again, one of these sort of fights that would never ever happen, but that's sort of what makes it fun. Stat-wise, what jumps out at you guys stat-wise before we have this fight?
Valor and piercing obviously favor Elrohir.
Valor and piercing. Yep, Elrohir is the blue line. Landroval is the green. Each with some advantages here.
Piercing won't come into it much because both of them prefer melee. So what's really gonna come into it is Valor.
Yep.
It's gonna make Landroval slightly better in melee, I would say. It's pretty close. I mean, everything's close.
It is. Yeah,
it's
I was
odd
just
for
gonna say,
such different creatures to be this close.
Yeah, but let's see. So they're similar in certain ways. I mean, their armor is almost exactly the same. Their striking, I don't know. Yeah, their magic's almost the same. Their toughness is pretty similar. Elrohir, now again, so he is a lot like his twin brother. He is a little bit better at range than his twin brother, I'll say. So, his piercing is 70. Right?
He isn't going to choose ranged here. He's not going to use that very much.
Good point. Yeah, and that's just because good luck hitting an eagle with 92 agility and 85 dexterity, right? Mm. So he's doing the math on this. He's got the scouting report, and he's saying, I'm going to use my blade, and whenever this guy swoops to try to talon me, I'm gonna chop him.
Which is something I love about this game. Elrohir would use ranged against almost everyone, but he doesn't do it here because he doesn't figure it's going to work.
Exactly, and that's straight from the math. That's straight from we call it a scouting report sometime, but assume that the characters know each other. I tend to use the analogy like they've played in the regular season and now this is the tournament, right? So they're familiar a little bit with each other, enough to sort of formulate their best strategy. The way that's done, and Engine Chief, you should tell this and not me, is you want to tell them how the rehearsals work?
Yeah. No. That's too deep in the weeds. Let's fight.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, suffice it to say they have a scouting report on each other and they're familiar.
Yeah.
So, as Engine Chief said, shall we fight? Let us fight. Second fight of the night, we've got Landroval against Elrohir. Let us fight. The first attack anyway, goes to Elrohir. It's a miss. Landroval comes back, engages but cannot hit. Back and forth they go, missing. The first hit to Elrohir, no damage. Landroval comes down, no damage. Back and forth they go. This could be a longer one just because of the elusiveness. A hit by the eagle! Minor damage. Only minor damage. Elrohir comes back, using his blade so far. Cannot hit. Another fell stroke by Landroval! Heavily hewn! With the great talons. Advantage for the eagle through 14 rounds. Can Elrohir score a hit, or is the eagle too elusive? A hit, but no damage. Only a glancing blow. Back and forth they go through 20 rounds. Advantage to Elrohir. Back and forth. Another stroke by the eagle. Very, very little damage. Almost nothing. But Elrohir cannot even score a small wound. There's one. Ah, jinxed it. There he goes. Evens the fight a little bit with the Blade of Rivendell. Still, through 25 rounds, 30-point advantage to the eagle. Landroval attacks again and misses. Elrohir comes back, misses. They can't even engage most of the time. A hit, but no damage. Watch the top of your screen if you're new to this, guys. You can tell who's attacking by the colors at the top and whether or not they score damage. All right, back and forth they go. A hit for the eagle, no damage. Another hit by Landroval. A wound, slain, and Landroval pulls the upset. Well then. First upset of the night, fellas. How we liking that?
That's a tough one, man. We're otherless now.
Yeah. Maybe we should mourn the less emo of the two twins.
Yeah.
Impressive job there by Landroval. I mean, obviously,
Last wound was huge.
only one. Yeah, and I don't know, man. It makes the conversation about the numbers pre-match that we were talking about. Should he have used his bow there? You know, he was a decent archer, maybe not an elite one, but
Yeah.
in retrospect, what are you going to do? So, halfway through the battles for the night, what is coming next? We have, well, for the rest of the evening, we have orcs against dwarves. So,
In fantasy, Hanti really pads his lead.
oh, did he have Landroval too?
But this next one, I'm pretty sure my fantasy. Yeah.
Damn, okay.
This next one, I feel pretty good about my character winning.
Okay, don't jinx it, don't jinx it. We don't believe in jinxes in the Chamber of Death, do we? But yeah, I'm seeing, I'm looking at Hanti's roster now. He did have Landroval. Zeus. Well, nicely done. So who had Elrohir? Oh, it was Patty Man.
I know this. It was Petiman, yeah. But he can use a loss or two in fantasy, so that's fine with me.
Patty Man can?
Yeah,
Dude,
he's got such a powerful team. He's got a great team, so no tears for him.
Oh man, sorry, Patty Man. No remorse for you, buddy. No one's crying any tears for you over here in the Chamber of Death. But Hanti is freaking over here with 52 points. And then, yeah, Chucky and Josh and Campy still waiting for any of their characters to actually fight. Good stuff. Well, next fight, Bolg against Thorin. Of course, fans of The Hobbit will know that these two actually went mano a mano in the events of The Hobbit at the Battle of the Five Armies. And it did not end well for Thorin. In fact, Bolg was Thorin's ultimate bane. When they met in battle, the evil goblin of Gundabad hewed down Thorin Oakenshield. Despite the fact that Thorin was wielding an elven blade from the troll horde of the Misty Mountains, from the troll shows, so he had Orcrist, but it didn't do any good. It did not avail him against Bolg. But he was quickly avenged by Bjorn, who showed up in bear form on the battlefield and ripped Bolg apart. And it took a while for Thorin, to die afterwards. And of course, he had that just freaking fantastic death speech when Gandalf and Bilbo were at his deathbed after the battle, and I should be able to quote it, but I won't be able to. But I'll paraphrase and just say, if more people valued food and cheer above hoarded gold, the world would be a merrier place. But sad or merry, I must leave it now. Slain. Thank you. I'll be here all night. Tip your waiter. So yeah, they actually fought, and tonight we will see if the outcome is any different. Fellas, help me out. Give me your thoughts while I queue up the fight.
I mean, Thorn's pretty hardcore. I know he's lower seeded here, but I feel like he's gonna. I don't know if we can get 2 upsets back to back, but I like his chances.
Nice, yeah. It's hard to speak technically when you're not looking at the stats on each character, but hunches are allowed too. What are you feeling from the stories?
Well, the thing about the 5 armies thing is, they're sort of presented in Tolkien always as face-to-face battles, and they were, because it's melee. Your sword's hitting that other guy's sword, right?
Right.
But also things are rip-roaring all around. There's distractions. There's smoke. You can't see the guy. So I wouldn't put it past Thorin here.
Nice. Yeah. What says the battle engine?
Mathematically, look at that line. It says dead even in terms of advantages.
Wow. Yeah, dead even in terms. So their overall skill is very similar. This is a good fight.
The odds makers, and we're not going into detail about how those odd makers make their odds, think Thorin has a good shot here.
Very nice. Technically, that would be an upset. Although, again, with the play-in round, everyone, the play-in round is designed to be super competitive as we can make it, right? And that's the advantage to this tournament format, right? Because in the March Madness style tournament format, you often have blowouts in the first round. It's kind of designed to favor the high seeds. Not so in a play-in format. Of course, the champions all get buys, so there is that. But the first round really should be, and really has been, pretty even across the board. Okay, so in this particular fight, we have Thorin favoring melee, Bolg also preferring melee. I tend to like these because then it's, they're both, like Engine Chief said, both wielding blades face to face, close and personal in battle. Weird stuff starts happening at range, right? With ranged attacks. We saw that with Beleg from the first stage, who made a Final Four run in our previous tournament, right? But suffice to say, a ranged character can really do some, pull upsets, like a hot 3-point shooting team in March Madness. If you can't miss, you can pull upsets. That's not going to happen in this one because they're both going to get personal. And only about, 12% of the time, they're going to use their ranged attacks.
Well, Thorin is really good at melee. All the blade, look at those red columns there. These are all melee things he's good at. He would struggle against a really, really good archer. That's not Bolg, so I think Thorin's got a good shot here.
I do too. Big advantage in armor.
Yeah.
Surprising advantage in striking, only because orcs are typically good strikers. Orcs, as a race, their main advantage is they're ferocious as hell. They're nasty, right? So they're going to have no problem engaging the enemy. They're getting after it. That said, Thorin has a magic sword. He has Orcurist, okay? So big advantage in striking. Also, a good advantage in armor. Yeah, I like Thorin in this one.
Can't be who you picking.
Yeah, that's where I mentioned before. I kind of had That was my gut. My gut says Thorin.
All
There's a
right.
comment there that says lots of defense and we might be here for a while. And that's because of that armor factor, but boy, there's a lot of offense too.
True.
I feel like there's going to be blood on the walls here.
Yeah.
These aren't hobbits that are going to dance. These guys are going to stand next to each other and start hewing away.
Indeed. Let us start hewing.
Yeah, hew.
In the third fight of the night, we have Thorin Oakenshield against Bolg the Orc. Let us fight! First attack to Thorin. He fails to even engage the wily orc. Bad start, perhaps, but plenty of time to go.
Well, so I was wrong.
First stroke to Bolg, slight smite. Ooh, Bolg heard us talking about him. Thorin misses. Bolg misses. Thorin hits, no damage. Bolg hits, no damage. A miss, and they're dancing back and forth through 10 rounds. Slight, size of mediocre advantage to Thorin. Another hit. Mediocre advantage to Bolg. All right, hit. Another hit. No damage either way. A good old-fashioned sword fight. Another stroke by Bolg. Very, very minor damage. Thorin forced to throw a dagger, but misses. Bolg misses, can't even engage. Thorin engages, can't hit. Bolg can't engage. A stroke by Thorin! Damages, wounds, a heavily hewn hit. Now, Thorin reclaims the advantage with one fell stroke.
Bolg is missing his
come
armor
back.
right now.
Yes, using his armor, that goblin scythe. Tink! He's also doing a good job being more elusive than I would have thought, too. Another hit by Thorin, another wound! Down
Look
to
at
the very
this.
brink of life. 0.15. Bolg has to have a gaping wound. But he needs to score some damage here if he has any chance. Needs to be here.
Doesn't have much time left.
He can't engage. Big advantage to Thorin. Can he finish it? Not that time. Bolg comes back. Can't engage. Thorin, another hit. No damage. Can Bolg engage? He engages. He hits. Doesn't wound. Can Thorin finish it? Nope. Can't hit. Bolg can't hit. Thorin hits. Wounds. And that's going to be it. Slain! And Thorin vanquishes Bolg.
That's one of those decapitations where if it had happened on the first round, it would have been instant death.
Yeah, regardless of where he struck. That's Orcrist for you. They don't call it the Goblin Cleaver for nothing, you know.
That was really interesting, given that Bolg was the more elusive of the two.
It didn't seem like it, did it?
Not at all. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and you know we're talking randomized battles here, and so sometimes that's how it goes, right? But yeah, it was my thoughts exactly. Thorin for having much better armor, but not much maybe, but
Like a 15-point
A-
differential. Almost.
yeah, 15-point differential in elusiveness or agility, right? Yeah, it didn't seem to matter.
Interesting.
Okay, so real quick, someone look up while I queue up the next fight or something. Who had which of those characters?
Engine Chief had both of them. So it was
that's
it was schizophrenic there watching that happen.
Conflict of interest. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, guaranteed points though. Look at it that way. So you,
Yeah.
by 1 point, I guess, were favoring the upset, which happened. So you got
Yep.
11 instead of 10 on
Yep.
that one.
Yep.
Favor of Thorin. Let's do your math real quick. I'm going to give you these points for Thorin. Excellently done. Engine Chief up to 33.
Yeah.
All of Engine Chief's wins have been upsets. Making use of those
That's
upset
right.
bonuses that you didn't want to include, Dattle.
But he passes Chucky into second place in the fantasy league points so far.
Yep.
But the really heavy hitters, Mr. J has Sauron, who's sitting here laughing at these petty fights. Sauron's going to come in and score some points in later rounds.
Yeah, so folks watching, this is what we're talking about. Engine Chief is getting the first round upset bonuses. If you look at our scoring table here, this last box, the upset bonus again is C differential times what round you're in. We're in the first round, so that's a 1, and the C differentials in this format are all 1. So it's just 1 times 1, which is going to be 1. I did not major in math, but I can do that much of it. Yeah, so 1 point advantages here, which means if Engine Chiefs ends up winning the tournament by 3 points, he's got to thank me. That's all it means.
Yeah.
So we've got, let's see, who got slain just then? No, I screwed that up. Azog. No, I'm confusing Bolg and Azog. Where is Azog? Who's got Azog? Control F, Azog.
I think you were just there.
Bolg. Sorry, I'm talking about Bolg, not Azog.
Yeah.
Wait, dude, we just went over this, man. I'm asleep here or something. Okay, so Engine Chief had both. Conflict of interest. We
just fought, if that's what your question is.
It is. My bad. So, there you go. Bolg is slain. So, Dada's roster's been quite diminished here, but like he said, it's not going to matter because of all these heavy hitters that remain. Bolg and Galadriel and the likes of all them guys. So, good stuff. Guys, we have 1 fight remaining. And it is, again, theme of the night, orcs versus dwarves. 2 new characters here.
Go dwarves.
Go dwarves. Gimli's daddy, Gloin. You'll remember him from Thorin's company, again from the events of The Hobbit. He not only accompanied the Thorin's company to liberate the Lonely Mountain Erebor from the dragon Smaug. He survived the Battle of 5 Armies and was able to procreate with a bearded dwarvish hottie, I guess. However they do that with dwarves. And out pops Gimli. And Gimli, of course, was a heavy hitter in the War of the Ring. So this is Gimli's dad. He was one of the young, fell, ill-tempered dwarves in the Battle of the 5 Armies. But, all very small roles in The Hobbit because there were 13 of them. Sorry, 12 of them plus Gandalf and Bilbo. Yeah, 12 dwarves. And so what it means is they all kind of wash each other out and they don't get a ton of characterization going on. But that's what we know about Gloin. Gorbag, on the other hand. Can we
recite them? Owen and Gloin and Feely and Keely and Balin and Dwalin, and I only come up with 6.
Bombor, Biffer, Bofer. Ooh, Campy, can you do it?
Bomber.
I can't remember all 5 of my kids' names at any point in time, so 12 dwarves is a little out.
12 dwarves.
Well said.
No room. All right. I'm gonna have to do this now that you guys done through the gauntlet. All right.
What do we know about Gorbag, though?
Hold your horses. Owen, Gloin, Feely, Keely, Biffer, Bofer, Bombor, Thorin. Did I say Owen and Gloin? I did not. That's 10.
I'll look it up. You keep the broadcast moving, okay?
Okay, we'll count this as a failure for me. Okay. I can get 10 out of the 12. I'm forgetting 2. Gorbag is an orc, obviously. And he remember that scene in the Return of the King where Frodo is imprisoned in the Tower of Cirith Ungol after he's injected by Shelob with venom, sleeping venom, not killing venom. And Sam takes the ring from Frodo and keeps it safe while he's imprisoned in the Tower of Cirith Ungol, and the orcs start fighting over his mithril coat. Well, Gorbag is the orc that fights Shagrat. And so there's two contingencies of orcs that are sort of have this rivalry there in the Tower of Cirith Ungol, right? And one faction, actually Uruk-hai, which at this point Sauron has learned from Saruman via the Palantir, learned the craft of upgrading his orcs to Uruk-hai, which involves some dark version of mixing man blood with orc blood and producing super orcs that aren't sun shy. You know, they can come out not just at night but in day and cover great distance at speed. Okay, so but Shagrat is the Uruk. Gorbag is the faction from Cirith Ungol, so he is the captain of Cirith Ungol. His faction actually wins, and he smuggles the shirt. Oh, what crap? Hold on. I might be getting that backwards. I don't trust my own lore. I'm 90% sure Gorbag's faction wins. He sneaks out of there with the mithril shirt and delivers it to the mouth of Sauron. Okay, I think Shagrat is the one that remains in the tower, thinking that he's killed Gorbag, and then Sam has to slay Shagrat and save Frodo. So that's the lore on those guys. Fact check me on that one. Whoever's watching, drop it in the comments if I'm wrong. So this also should be a pretty even fight. Give me your hunches while I pull up the charts here, guys.
I've got the. I'm hunching on the.
I think dwarves are on a roll. I got Gloin.
I just feel like there's got to be got to have some of the evil dudes get their own.
Fair enough, yeah. Azog did pull the upset in yesterday's fights, so we've got Azog through.
I didn't need him to pull that upset. Thank you very much for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
He slew Faramir, Campy's picture namesake over there, his avatar.
What does it look like in real life? So I just figured I'd throw that out there.
Nice.
Yeah, well. Here, now, we're not using emotion, we're using factoids. What do we see here?
Doesn't look good for the orc.
Quite favorable odds to Gloin. I like it.
Even though he's the lower seed.
Yeah.
Man, he's got a crushing advantage in deflection, so obviously... Oh, look at this. Gloin's actually going to prefer to toss hatchets at this guy. That's wild. Why would that be? This might be a very poor decision.
This might be a poor decision. They are allowed to make poor decisions in the way the algorithm works. So
maybe you got a bad... Yeah, you got a bad scouting report or something.
Yeah, but let's look more.
I mean, the only thing I can figure is he thinks the dwarf is too... He thinks the orc, Gloin, thinks Gorbag is too resistant. Like, he doesn't have that great of armor. What on defense would be intimidating here? He doesn't have great armor. He doesn't have great deflection. He has pretty good toughness. And he has no spirit. I don't get it.
I don't get this. This feels like... Now, to be fair, 1/8 of the time, they're going to go the other way.
Yeah.
So Gloin will use his... what does he use? Is that a hammer thing that he's got?
Yeah, Dwarven hammer.
Yeah.
I
A
feel like
warhammer.
yeah, he had too much meat or something the night before, and he's
Yeah,
feeling
things
lazy.
happen.
So
Yeah.
We don't talk much about battlefield conditions, but two things happen in there. One is that if one guy gets to kind of have his preferred way, and the other is, it can be obscured by fog or this or that. So he's having trouble seeing Gorbag, and he's having trouble making the right call. I feel like he's made the wrong call here.
I do too. I mean, he doesn't. To be fair, he doesn't have great striking. He doesn't have elite melee here, but he's got decent melee. He's a dwarf, and of course, by melee, what am I talking about? I'm talking about he's got crap magic, so that's 1/3 of his damage. That's not going to do much. He's got not great striking, decent striking.
Yeah.
Decent ferocity. Yeah, he doesn't trust his hammer. So he's gonna hatchet toss through this one. Now I'm intrigued. Let's see what happens with this one. This one.
Yeah, this is interesting to me.
Yep. Let us
great at
find
melee.
out.
To be great at melee, you need agility, ferocity, and striking, and none of those are that great. I guess Gloin's kind of short as a dwarf, maybe, and he can't do what some of the other dwarfs can do.
Yeah. Ooh, let us see if Gloin has miscalculated in this one, or if he can still slay Gorbag. Let us fight. In the final fight in the Isengard region, we have Gloin against Gorbag. Let us fight. First attack, hatchet toss by Gloin. It's a miss. Gorbag comes back. A hit! A wound! Right off the bat, heavily hewn, and it is going poorly for the dwarf. He hits with the hatchet, but minimal damage, as expected. Gorbag comes back. A hit! Tink! Off the armor. Another hatchet toss. Misses. Miss. A hit by Gorbag, but no damage. Off the armor. Another stroke by Gorbag. Minor damage. A hit now by the dwarf, but minimal damage. That's the thing that with these hatchet tosses, you gotta chip away. You're unlikely to get one that's like, a heavily hewn type wound. Okay. The Orcish Scimitar. No damage that time. Miss. And a miss. And they're dancing. Oh, a hit! Another axe wound. So the axe they're hitting, but not doing enough damage there. He's not gonna win it that way.
Gloin has used his warhammer twice, but it hasn't worked.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Failing to hit. Alright, he misses again. Gorbag can't engage. Gloin can't engage. Gorbag can't engage. Gloin can't hit, and they're dancing. Back and forth they go. A hit! No damage. A hit! No damage. And they're dancing. Another hit! No damage. Tink! Off the armor. The Orcish Scimitar. I mean, look, Gloin's armor's doing its thing. Except for in the first heavily hewn. Back and forth. Another hit by Gloin. Not enough damage with that hatchet toss, as we predicted. Another wound by the Orc! Slain! And the winner is Gorbag. As predicted, no upset. Oof. Well, in whatever Hall of Heroes that the dwarves go to in the afterlife, Aule's Hall, perhaps, Gloin's going to be regretting his scouting report. He needs to fire his staff and get a new coaching staff.
Real.
So, that'll do it. Let's see where we're at, gentlemen.
But Haunty pads his lead in the fantasy. That's where we're at.
Is it? Yeah. Okay, so Gorbag advances past Gloin. He will take on the dragon Smaug in the next round. Thorin advances past Bolg. And he will take on Treebeard in the next round. Interesting. Landroval slays Elrohir in this fight. And the Eagle will take on Boromir in the next round. Campy, you have Boromir, don't you?
And Smog. So
And Smaug.
I'm going to be busy next round.
Interesting. Well, so that upset was good for you then, at least on paper.
We'll find out. We got to look at the stats. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's all
Boromir and
matchup
Elrohir
dependent.
is similar enough, and yeah.
And then back to our first fight of the night. Bilbo slew Merry, and he will take on Saruman.
Night, night.
And,
yeah. So
a couple things. Tell us who the fights are tomorrow.
I can do that next because it's right here. Tomorrow we have Eowyn against Gollum in the 11-12. Then we have the Olog High against Radagast in what figures to be the match of the night, 6 against 5. Then we have Dane against Eomer, 7 against 8. And then the nightcap, Grishnak against Theoden. And that'll be the play-in round done.
All right. I emailed you. I don't know how easy it is to pick up a picture of the scoring, but it's really depressing unless you're Hunty.
Death Fog.
Hunty at 62. Engine Chief at 33. Chucky at 31. Nobody else has
forget all my
any
points.
points, mostly because they haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I can't get the picture up in time to really show it here.
Okay.
We will have to iron out our process on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. We'll take your word for it. It's wait for it.
Well, you have it there in your text also. The scores: Hunty 62, Engine Chief 33, Chucky 31, and everyone else 0. But you got people like Mr. J sitting there with Sauron, and he's just warming the bench, right? He's going to come in there for some points.
Yeah. Yep. So it didn't change really too much from the beginning of the night to the end. Man, good start for Haunty, but these 1 seeds are such heavy hitters. Trust me, this is nowhere near over. Can say that with plenty of confidence. Still, definitely anyone's fight here in the unofficial Third Age Throwdown Fantasy League. Can't wait till this is an official product, guys. It's exciting for me. So stay tuned. It's coming. It's coming. But any parting comments tonight? Good fights tonight, guys. Plenty of good action.
Here's what I'd like to say. Feely and Keely, Bifer and Bofer and Bomber, Dwayne and Balin, Owen and Gloin, Dory and Nori and Ori, and Thorin Oakenshield.
There you go. It's a lot easier when you're reading it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I thought there was a time when I could recite that stuff.
Yeah, when you used to read it to
Couldn't
us,
get it, couldn't
definitely.
get it tonight.
Yeah, no, I couldn't either. I couldn't either. Well, good stuff. Thanks for hopping on, guys.
Good stuff, everybody.
Patsy Man and Hanti, we missed you tonight. Chucky, we missed you tonight, our fellow panelists and founders here. But everyone else, we were quiet on the comments tonight. Guys watching, I know you guys are watching. Don't be shy. Drop us some comments. And if they're juicy enough, we'll even show them on screen. How about that? But no sweat. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. We will log off, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, last night of the play-in round. Okay? So be there. Be there. Join us. Do all the things in red. Click on all the buttons you got to click on all these socials and stuff to help us out. It doesn't help us out monetarily. All this is free. But what it does help with is it helps us connect with you and get you all the cool upcoming projects that we have in the raging pipeline of death. So, like, share, subscribe, please, on whatever your favorite platforms are. Helps us. Help me, help you.
And it's going to feel like the Battle of the Pelennor Fields because we have Eowyn, Eomer, and Theoden all fighting tomorrow.
Yes, excellently said, Engine Chief. That's going to be our theme of the night. So we'll throw down some lore of Rohan, which is easy for me because it's probably my personal favorite. Big fan of Rohan. How can you not be?
Well,
all right. With that, thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Say it one more. Say it one more time, Engine Chief. Didn't catch that.
No, I take it back. Go on. No,
thank you, everyone, for watching. So, and tune in again tomorrow night for more Campy Wappy. Thanks for joining us, man, with your little hobbit.
I know. My little linoleum lizard.
Yep. They're good. They're freaking fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone who caught the stream, thank you guys too. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. And until the next battle, remember, as Professor Tolkien tells us, you can only come to the morning through the shadows. And where there is life, there is always hope. You are never out of the fight.